Hey everybody, bad news coming out yesterday. Georgia Tech is going to be losing J-Bat, unfortunately, to freaking Michigan State. Our AD, J-Bat, been here for a few years. He's the one that hired Key, so he's been here about 3 years. He is taking a job at Michigan State for more money, no doubt. And it's just a shame. This is a huge loss. I think me and my buddy Rec Talk and Tantor, a couple other Georgia Tech video creators, we do like a recap of the year where we rank or we grade the coaches and everything else on their performances, and J-Bat was on there. I gave him 100. I didn't think that he could do any better job than he had been doing. He hired Brent Key. He hired Stoudemire, which isn't really going well, but we'll see how that goes. I don't know a ton about basketball, but I do know that he's raised a ton of money. He's really gotten things turned around and raised a ton of money for football, which is, we're having the biggest budgets that we've had for football in like school history, and we're finally investing more and more. He's done a few fundraisers. He's raised several $100 million off of the first thing he did was come in and raise like $300 million. He's made moves such as giving the naming rights to Grant Field to make us some money. He's moved the the game, the old-fashioned rivalry or clean old-fashioned hate, whatever that shit's called, against his freaking assholes up in Athens. I don't even think about them. Whatever that's called. They moved that to the Mercedes-Benz, which is controversial. A lot of people, are old-fashioned and don't like those changes. And I get where they're coming from. Obviously, I've been saying this, like, moving the game to Mercedes-Benz this year feels like bad timing because we are, like, on the cusp of beating them. It was an 8-point game the year before. Last year we had, going to 8 overtimes. We're this close to beating Georgia. They're not going to be that good this year. This is the first time this year, 2025, will be the first freaking chance we have to get a win at home against those bastards. And for the first time, this millennium or century or whatever it is. So as sad as it to say, I hate bringing that up, but this year would be the year for sure we would beat them. And now we're not going to have that chance because it's going to be in the bins. And it sucks, but it is only for 1 year. And we got, $11 million from it or something like that? That's Jeff Collins' entire buyout. The reality of our situation is that we're going to have to make some concessions when it comes to Grant Field and playing at the bins and stuff to get more money. That's what it's going to have to be if we want to be better at football. Which of course we all do, and there's things that we're gonna have to give up, and it's not permanent. It's not gonna be Hyundai Field forever. It is gonna be for a while, but we're in dire straits. This is a critical time. This is an absolutely critical time in college football. You have conference realignment going on, which is it's gonna be. It's going to have effects, for the program trajectory of our freaking program, okay? If we don't do the right things here and become a desirable program in realignment, we could wind up being relegated, which is my hugest fear. And to have J-Bat, who is willing to, he came in, he didn't have ties to the program, so obviously he was a little more willing to just give up these kind of traditionalist things because it didn't really mean anything to him, and it was what's best for the school. And I think that that's important to have. I think that that's important to have somebody who can, make those tough decisions. And he got a lot of flack for it, but at the end of the day, I think he did what was necessary to raise money for the program. We were in a ton of debt, and we're working on that. Obviously, we have a huge stadium renovation coming up. He put all that into motion, so he's done an absolutely outstanding job. No matter what you may think of the old school traditions being taken away, it's not permanent, and it's a really important time for that stuff to be happening. If there was any time to be, if there was any time to be letting go of that type of stuff and doing what is needed to get money now and be competitive now is the freaking time. And J-Bat made those decisions. And it's gone really well. And, to that point, it could be, what I'm hoping, looking at, whoever might be the AD next, I hope that, Cabrera sees what a job he did and try to find someone similar. Because we need somebody like him to, continue how it's going. I mean, he's not getting hired away to Michigan and paid a bunch more, Michigan State, and paid a bunch more money because he wasn't doing a good job. Michigan State saw that, and South Carolina. We retained him from South Carolina. It was a huge deal. Those schools, are not going after him because he's a crappy AD. He was really good, and he's going to be really good for wherever he goes. So I mean, he did a good job. He got his name out there, and he got himself a bag. So good for J-Bat. He did an outstanding freaking job as the Georgia Tech AD, and I want somebody just like him next. We need it. We need it bad. Like I said, he did a lot of good, but we have a long way to go, and this time is so important. This next AD hire is so important, and I'm so sad to see J-Bat go right now. I'm so this is terrible news. It really is. And this hire is absolutely critical. So I'm hoping Cabrera, the president of the school, sees how great a job J-Bat did and goes after somebody similar who has a similar plan for the school moving forward. We need it bad. And a lot of people, will criticize and everything like that, but I mean, it is what it is. Tech's got a lot of old fans that are, traditional and everything, and I am too. But, at one point you got to pick. You want to be traditional, or you want to freaking be competitive in football. So, anyway, that's the news, not the freaking news you hope to hear in the off season. Really, really sucks. I mean, we've dodged a couple bullets this offseason. We didn't have really the word. I mean, well, we had, Singleton transfer. That was bad. But not any, besides that, not any huge, bad, transfers leaving. We, dodged J-Bat getting poached by South Carolina. We dodged Buster getting poached. I guess our DC did leave, so that sucks. But, we've taken a couple blows this offseason, but for the most part, we're looking pretty good. I mean, it's not like this athletic director is going to affect the team this year or anything. It's just the program as a whole, which is way more important. So, it's been a rough week. We had this fiasco with the rings that Georgia Tech made for some reason. I didn't make a video about that, but look, if you're going to make rings, I mean, last year was exciting, but if you're going to make rings for something like that for a 7-6 season, don't post it. That's such a bad look. I just don't understand why you have to post that. You can give it to your team or whatever if it's fun to do for the guys, sure. But, I mean, to post it on there, with Miami win and freaking Florida State. Florida State was 2-10. Don't put that on a ring. God almighty. God dang. Why did they do that? That's so embarrassing. I was getting freaking embarrassed by people, flaming Georgia Tech for it. And, that was such a stupid idea to post that rings. Anyway. It's been rough at Georgia Tech. The media team gets carried away sometimes with the hype around the program. There is a lot right now because we've had some success lately, but the media team gets a little carried away sometimes, and I think that's what happened in that situation. It's like as if we were, starving in the desert for years, and we found a chicken wing. That's kind of the vibe that making rings for a 7-6 season and putting wins over Miami and Florida State on there to go. But anyway, that's all I got to say about that situation. Sea-Dog is out of here. I'll be, back in tune with, throughout the offseason. If there's any big news, I'll make a video on it. Also, Tuesday, huge Sea-Dog announcement. You're not going to want to miss it. Important Sea-Dog news coming up. So, anyway, thanks to my Jacket fans. We're in the dog days of the freaking offseason, but I still am excited about this upcoming season. And I'll probably make a video when, we do hire new AD, see, kind of his background, see what I think of him. So, anyway, thanks for watching. Go Jackets, and I'll see y'all next time.